What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. And this is actually future me. I forgot to film an intro for this video, so I'm doing that past the fact, and I would try and hide it, but got a haircut since I last filmed, so nothing I can do about that. But today we are going to be going to the junkyard to try and see if we can find a 4L80E transmission out of another car, and my buddy Wes is going to be joining me. But since I went ahead and forgot to film an intro, let's just get into the action. We're looking for a 4L80E transmission. Yes, indeed, that's what we need for the Yukon. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to find one. And I didn't know how much work it was going to be because I don't like working at junkyards, I'll be honest with you guys. Crawling around in the gravel kind of sucks. But here's the exciting thing. I found one. And it doesn't even have an engine in the way. I've confirmed that this is a 4L80E. Let me show you guys. So an identifying marker on the 4L80E transmissions is this checkerboard kind of pattern. You'll find it on both sides, but in the writing right there, it says 4L80E. So this is definitely the transmission we're gonna need to get out of the car. This is my buddy Wes. Say hi to Wes, everyone. He's gonna also help me put this in the Yukon when that time comes. Mostly for this car, just because we don't have to remove the starter to get to the bolts here, and we don't have to disconnect the flywheel that connects it to the engine because that's already gone. We're gonna have to get off our transfer case at the back for the four-wheel drive. We do need it to be a four-wheel drive transmission because the two-wheel and four-wheel are slightly different. We need to remove our transfer case at the rear. Exhaust is already out of the way, and then we just need to disconnect a few other things, and then we should have ourselves a 4L80E. All right, so my buddy Wes, I'm on the good camera, guys, with the good microphone. My buddy Wes is already on the hunt for it, but here's a trick I've learned from the junkyard. You gotta lay on this gravel, right? And it's not fun. So we're on the hunt mostly for a big carpet, one that we can put under the car while we're working and lay on it without any discomfort. And unfortunately, this one does not look to have one. This is a nice large body-sized carpet, and it will insulate us. It's a very thin one, but it will insulate us from a lot of the stuff on the ground and keep us a little bit cleaner. So unless Wes comes up with something better, this is exactly what we need. So now Wes is actually preparing our work surface. He's getting all the uncomfortable things to lay on out of the way. This is the Chevy 2500 HD. It is the four-wheel drive. It's got the 4L80E transmission in it. This is exactly what we're looking for. But I'm actually gonna do a lot of filming today. I'm gonna get hands-on when I need to, but the best way to learn is to do. And Wes wants to learn a lot today since he doesn't have as much experience working on cars as I do. So he'll be doing a lot of the work. I'll be filming. We'll be talking through what we need to do, obviously, like I do in all my videos. So the first step that we're addressing right now is without an engine being here. The typical step was to remove these bolts last and then rock the transmission down. But the problem is once we remove the transfer case, the whole engine wants to rock forward into this open space. You may be able to notice we did get adjusted, so it is going to support right on that bar right there when we pull it down a little bit. Now let me show you the steps we're going to take that are a little bit different to get this out and kind of why we needed to support it there. So on the transfer case right here, transmission there, transfer case here, we need to remove the drive shaft. So that's just going to be these two 16mm bolts right here. That will drop that off and pull it out. But this right here is the only thing supporting the transmission from falling down. So we wanted to address that first. The other thing we need to do is, this is for the front wheels right here. We need to get this one out. 4 12mm bolts right in that area right there. And then we can start addressing the transfer case, which I believe is going to be a series of either 3 or 6 15mm bolts or nuts. We've got the drive shaft off, and we're kind of just looking at this objectively. We've got some problems that we've got to figure out. Next step for us is going to be taking off the transfer case. But usually you have an engine attached to the other end. So that's our problem, is because you remove the transfer case and it's supported on the engine. And in order to remove the transfer case, we have to remove the support. This is literally right across from where we're working. This is the transfer case of the 4L60E, I believe is what was in here. As you can see, this is the side that's connected to transmission. There is 6 studs on there. We can see the top 3, we can't see the bottom 3. We can get to this one and that one, but this one is underneath the brace, so we need to remove the brace to get it out of the way. We're going to remove the support here all the way across. It is 2 18s, one there, one on the other side, and then a 16 right there, and then obviously the same on the other side there. And then what will happen, transfer case right here is going to rest on this bar right here. So the whole transmission will be between that wheel and the transfer case here. Then we'll start undoing the transfer case, and this is where our problem comes into play, and this is going to be a two-man job. Once the transfer case is removed, the transmission will not be supported in the rear or in the front. There will be no support on it whatsoever, and it will want to fall out. We are also going to need to remove this little cable right here, the automatic gear changer here, so that goes into that little assembly there. So yeah, we're gonna have to get that guy off. Also, I don't know how well you can see it, but ever since we tipped it forward, it's having a pretty significant leak out of this main seal up here at the front, so hopefully that's not an issue. Alright guys, so this is the support bar. We got it out. My camera stopped recording, battery died. Sometimes that deletes footage, so I don't know what I showed you yet. Quick note, it was a nut on top, that nut right there, 18 millimeter, and then on the bottom was also an 18 millimeter bolt. We've got the transmission down right now, so it's just supporting on that rim over there, and then on the transfer case at the back. We still have the 6 bolts around the transfer case. We're going to remove this bracket right here, which is just one 13 millimeter bolt. And then we also have to disconnect the automatic transmission gear selector over there. My good friend Wes over here has informed me that we're running out of time. I may do a lot of time lapsing here and explaining what we're doing via commentary in post versus the normal explanations that I do like this, just because it takes a little bit less time to film that way and do the work. So without any further ado, alright, all the nuts are removed from that. We've got to get the two separated and get the transmission by itself out. My buddy Wes had this brilliant idea. We're going to take this seat here that's been just kind of chilling, and we're going to put it under where the transmission is. That way when the transmission, we can place it on this. We're going to try and get that transfer case out of the way, and then we got ourselves a 4L80E transmission. So I've already grabbed the second cart right there. We're gonna go ahead and get it loaded up on that cart, change off a little bit, and get home. Let's go home. Catch up with you guys back at the house. Hopefully you can see here in the trailer just fine. It has actually been a couple days later. And now I've got the transmission here. As you can see, I just have it plugged up so that nothing can get into there to contaminate it. I am going to do a full clean on this video, as well as I do need to replace the seal that is right there on the input-output shaft. So we're going to go ahead and get that replaced. as well as cleaned up before we get this into the Yukon. But I'll just keep this outro short for you guys. I'm not used to filming in a junkyard, guys, so I try to do my best, but not only was I teaching Wes how to do the work, but I've never done it on a Silverado. I didn't know what I was going to be pulling it out of when I went to the junkyard. I was just looking for a 4L80E, and there was some challenges that I just wasn't prepared for. So I did my best to film that video for you guys, but it's an off-location video, so it's just not something I'm too familiar with. But Yukon transmission, the 4L80E, this needs to get clean. Yukon transmission needs to come out, and we still need to get the BMW back together. So those are gonna be the next steps. If you guys like the video, drop a like down below. That really does help me out. If you guys wanna see all of those next coming steps, because we've got races coming up, go ahead and subscribe. It really helps me out as well. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.